Hello everyone and welcome to this Division 2 clash here in the Midwest F1 League, and it's taking place at the world-famous Silverstone circuit. It's a beautiful day here in Southamptonshire, and hopefully the racing is as good as the weather. Now this 5.8 kilometer circuit holds 18 corners and 2 DRS zones, all of which have potential to make one exciting Grand Prix. Now drivers tonight will need to especially be aware of track limits, as one-time penalty could be the difference between being on the podium and finishing in the midfield. Hotspot with you on the call, as you'd expect. So as our formation lap almost begins here, as our formation lap begins here, we'd like to take the time to remind you once again that Midwest F1 brought to you by Raise Energy, Sim Racer Coin, and Epos Audio. Epos Audio, I hear, makes really great headsets. I'm actually in the market buying one myself. Raise Energy, well, energy drinks. Sim Racer Coin, well, it's cryptocurrency. Say what you will about that. Cali Rob 187 leads the grid off of, the grid, and onto the formation lap now. Tire strategy tonight, let's look and see what people have chosen. It's a pretty, right down the middle mix of medium and hard tires. Medium's going to last you between 12 and 15 laps, hard's between 18 and 20. So, perhaps, do the people that started on hards go from hards to softs for the end of the race? That is a very interesting strategy. I'm not actually sure what's going to happen with that. I do know that Scuba Steve's going to have a grip advantage off of the starting line, so he will look to be the one to spoil the party between Cali Rob and Say, the current top two starters. Andy on the hards. Oh my goodness, Andy has spun it on the formation lap here. Oddly enough, the last person to spin it on the formation lap here in Division 2 won the race after. Oh wait, that wasn't Division 2, that was F2, never mind. But yeah, essentially. Funny enough, that was Say. He won it in Coda. Say in the F2 series that runs on Tuesdays, Say had spun it round during the formation lap, went on to win the race. So perhaps it's good luck. It's a good luck spin. Third row lockout for the two Aston Martin. Shelley the Turtle in fifth, Nikki 64 sixth. They're looking to do some damage. Currently 8th in the point standings heading into tonight. They will need a good one here. Nikki 64 is currently second in the points, down by 20 over the current championship leader. Cali Rob 187. In the Alfa Romeo tonight, I believe he is actually filling in. Sounds about right. I've never seen this guy before. Cali Rob 187, covering for EDA Got Palmer. Andy Wu covering for T-Brum tonight. Cali Rob up to the grid. Let's see how he angles in the car. Nice and tidy right there on the grid. Say doesn't really angle himself. Scuba kind of does towards the middle. Andy looks for it, pointed right towards the center now. Frenchie disqualified. Shelley pointed towards the middle. Nikki actually more pointed towards the outside, I'd say. Look how far in angled Shelley the Turtle and that Mercedes of Andy Wu are angled in. This is going to be actually a great start off the line. Hopefully we get a good camera angle, and we do. Lights turning on now here in Silverstone. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you had a great one. However, they are off in Division 2. And it looks like Say has gotten a much better start off the line. Even better, as we predicted, Scuba Steve up through the middle, and he takes the lead before they even get to the first corner. Cali Rob able to hold on to second for now. It's 3 wide for second place. The Mercedes of Andy down to the inside. We got a tree in the way of the camera angle. Andy still down to the inside. Still 3 wide. This is unbelievable action here between the Mercedes, the Ferrari, and the Alfa Romeo. Say comes out all right. Retains the lead there. Cali Rob and Andy still side by side for second, and now front runner. He's locked in behind these two, perhaps to try to find his way onto the podium. I believe Andy goes wide. Front runner's going to try to look around the outside as they go through Luffield. He's not really going to have the success there. The other Alfa Romeo of Capital 58 down to the inside on the AlphaTauri. He gets through relatively with ease. Capital 58 now watches as his teammates go side by side through Cop's corner. Well, that one was handled much worse the last time a Mercedes did it. Sorry, I had to. As the Mercedes of Andy comes out on top for now. Oh, the two Alphas make contact as they go through Beckett's. Not what they needed. Capital 58 goes around. Oh, and that I mean, you hate to see that, really. The Alfa Romeo team was on their way up for sure. And then suddenly it's all come crashing down. Scuba Steve out to a 2.5-second lead. Adaltonian and Shelley the Turtle side by side as they head through Vale. Adaltonian still has the inside, but not enough to hold on to it. It looks like we do have a yellow flag. It was the leader of the race. Scuba Steve spins out from the lead. He had a 2.5-second advantage, drops all the way down to 13th. And now, the battle for the lead of the race is on. Say has it, Andy in second, Callie in third, all separated by about half a second. DRS will not be open yet, however, it is looking to be super exciting when it does. KBO7 down to the inside of Kittenpetter, and KBO7 spins. He's off into the grass, in between the loop corner. Not what he needs at all, and he'll lose a lot of time. Shelley the Turtle getting around front runner there for the 4th spot. It looks as if Andy, at this moment in time, still within half a second of Say in the lead. The top 4 on the hard tires, it looks like the mediums have gravitated towards the middle of the pack at the moment. Scuba and his teammate swapping positions, going through Luffield through Woodcote. Say has the lead. KB07 retires. Has that been done on track? Are we going to get... It's at least a virtual safety car. I don't think it'll be upgraded. It shouldn't be. It's not got a reason to be, and it looks like, yes, for now it will be a virtual safety car. Say has the lead. Andy second. Callie Robb did not get an ideal start. He goes third. He's down from pole, down to third, but even worse than that, Scuba Steve down all the way 8 spots back to 11th. Not ideal for him. At a 2.5-second lead at the end of the first lap. And it all came crashing down for the Alpine driver. And now, does anybody manage to get an advantage here under the virtual safety car? It's definitely possible. Andy is, Callie Robb has closed the gap back to Andy. Are we back under racing? Is my stream just glitched here? It very well could be the case. I don't think we are yet. Doesn't quite seem like it. Yeah, the MFD of the cars still say virtual safety car. It's not been upgraded. Virtual safety car still on track. It looks like it's ending now, perhaps. Andy trying to perhaps get a look at Say for the lead once the virtual safety car ends. Which at this point in time, I mean, this has been out for an oddly long spell now. And now, back to green flag. Capital 58 drive-through for speeding under the virtual safety car. Say has not been able to really pull away from Andy. Still 0.5 of a second. Andy not hesitating now to use his energy store as they go through Cop's corner. Closes the gap to within half a second. As we look back, Nikki 64 trying to close it in on the Red Bull ahead of Adaltonian. Adaltonian up 5 spots since the start. You'd have to believe a lot of that was just staying out of trouble. Sometimes, that's all it requires. 0.3 of a second the gap. Nikki 64 trying to close in on Adaltonian here, down the hangar straight. Will he have anything before they get to Stowe? Andy looking for it on Say here. That battle was within 0.2 just a moment ago. Not close enough to make a move happen, although Scuba Steve looking to get around Hightower now. They make contact coming out of Stowe. Side by side through Vale, and it looks like Scuba Steve has it for now. Hopefully he doesn't lose it through Club this time, and it doesn't look like he will. Scuba Steve overtake there despite the potential contact that was made. Front runner within 0.3 of a second of Shelley the Turtle ahead. Shelley, unfortunately, is falling behind of the top 3. Now a 1.5 seconds behind Callie Robb. Capital 58 goes. Fastest lap at the moment. DRS will be activated here. Callie Robb. Will he have anything for Andy? Will Andy have anything for Say? It doesn't really look like they will. Andy has good pace at the moment. He's able to move within a couple of tenths of Say, within 0.4 or less. Callie is just kind of vibing in 3rd place. He's not under pressure from behind of Shelley, but he's not really getting much closer to Andy. Looks like VTech and Gunner exchanging positions there as they go through Woodlands. Actually, I tell you what, that's a 3-car battle. Let's check in with that for a moment. And it looks like Gunner has dropped down to 15. I believe he's actually been jostled out of position there by both the Red Bull VTEC of the McLaren of Grim Reaper and, at the end of the day, just didn't really stay with it. Front runner now. Does he have anything for Shelley ahead? Do we have an accident? Yes, we do. It's Scuba Steve again. I believe that is going out of Chapel. Has he picked up wing damage? What has happened there? Has he perhaps just lost the car again? I'm going to go ahead and point to yes on that one, unfortunately. Front runner was really close to Shelley there not long ago. Callie Robb, fastest lap, 1:32 flat. Although still not really, closing in on Andy, who then Andy picks up 3 seconds for multiple warnings. And that is early days in this race as well. That, probably better that he picks it up now, rather than with about 10 laps to go and a safety car coming out. However, speaking of potential safety car, we've got Sui and Frenchie, who's just gone straight into the middle of the circuit. The Capital 58 goes past. Capital might have a look for an unsafe rejoin on that one. I couldn't really tell from the camera angle, but it looked right close, that one did. Andy on the throttle. Does he have anything for say? As they go through Cops now. Front runner within 3/10 on Shelley ahead. Shelley falling behind of the 3 drivers ahead of him. I believe Shelley's on the mediums as well. Is that correct? No, front runner's on the mediums at the moment. That would actually make more sense. Let's see if front runner is able to track down the Aston Martin ahead of him. It looks like Callie Robb kind of wanted to make a move at Andy, wasn't close enough. And not being close enough, that being front runner. Not there yet. And then picks up 3 seconds just for the hell of it. Andy Wu exiting whatever corner this is. Club now down the Sir Lewis Hamilton Straight, as I've been told to call it time and time again, which now I do. Front runner picks up the penalty. Again, still a lot of time to negate that penalty. And speaking of penalty, Capital 58's just picked up one for speeding into the pit lane. His day has gone from bad to worse after the early collision with his teammates. It's not been an ideal one for the Alfa Romeo driver. His teammate of Callie Robb not doing too bad, but Andy now heavy into the braking zone to the back of the Ferrari, almost collided. It looks like Say is simply picking up better traction and is able to get away much cleaner and faster than the Mercedes behind him. Front runner rather. Oh, and Callie Robb, as I was getting a sip of my drink. No hotspot, no, you will not have the drink, because when you do, things happen. And Callie Robb has gone out from 3rd and falls down now. Scuba Steve. Interesting, these two come together after spinning out. The universe sometimes just comes full circle, and it did there. As Callie Robb spins out from 3rd, and now is battling Scuba Steve. Front runner now within 2/10 on Shelley. Although it has to be said, Shelley's been putting up some great defending. Either that or front runner just hasn't gotten close enough to make that move happen. One or two, either one of those, or perhaps a mixture of both, are happening. 4/10 of a second between these two. Andy still not really able to track down the Ferrari ahead of him. Say has been doing everything he's needed to do. Andy's panicking behind. You can see he's used most of his energy store as they head down the Wellington Straight into Brooklands now. Nikki 64 trying to find it past Adaltonian here as they go through Luffield and Woodcote. Nikki 64 3rd in the championship at the moment. Does he find the back of the Red Bull? It looks like the Red Bull's actually pulled away much better. Front runner still within 4/10 of Shelley the Turtle ahead, but still not enough to perhaps make a challenge for the podium position. Andy now, let's see if he's able to get a good enough exit to track down the Ferrari ahead. It looks like the answer is going to be no. Front runner, however, right up to the back of the Aston Martin, pulls out of the slipstream actually rather early, wheel to wheel as they head up the hill into Stowe. Let's see who gets the advantage. Side by side through the corner. Shelley the Turtle defends the inside. Front runner wants it around the outside. He gets it. He'll have the advantage going into Vale. Terrible camera angle. Does he outbrake the Aston Martin? Yes, he does. Front runner finally, and I mean finally, has that spot, but now has about 3.5 seconds to the Mercedes ahead. great move from Frontrunner, but has he made that move just a little too late to be able to confidently challenge for these podium positions? That very well may be the case, and plus, Shelly the Turtle behind at no lack of pace, as we've seen already. Kittenpetter, however, looks like pressuring now the Haas of Helgelin ahead of him. I think with DRS in play, he might get a solid go at this one here. It looks like Andy trying his best still to close down to Say in first. Still doesn't have anything for him. Helgelin now within the slipstream of Adaltonian, this being for the 6th spot. Scuba Steve and Callie Rob battling it out there. It looks like that actually looks like a good battle. Multiple cars involved as well. Grim Reaper just ahead. It looks like his teammate of Sui has a bit of the dust going through the loop. Regains his composure, gets back on track. No DNF, no nothing there. Kittenpetter right up against the gearbox of Helgelin. Not enough to make a move. Does he get a better run through Chapel? Let's see if that's the case. He'll have DRS. Anything, perhaps? Helgelin tried to look down to the bottom on Adaltonian for a minute there, wasn't able to get it. And for now, we'll go back to the battle for the lead. Andy still within half a second of Say in first. Remember, these guys in the pit window don't really have to stop for some time. Callie Rob and Josh Sr. battling it out there. It looks like as Josh Sr. perhaps made a mistake. No, he's been eaten up by both Callie Rob and Scuba Steve there. Falls from 12th down to 14th. Helgelin 0.3 of a second behind Adaltonian. Adaltonian actually has himself a bit of a tricky situation here. He's outside of DRS to the Aston Martin ahead. He's got the Haas and AlphaTauri and another Haas behind him, all with DRS. Who gets the advantage here? It looks like Adaltonian is going to be able to defend them enough for that challenge to not happen just yet. And speaking of challenge not happening just yet, Andy was about 0.2 of a second heading into Brooklands in Luffield. Hasn't been able to keep the gap together. It looks as if Say has him absolutely matched for pace and more. Adaltonian, you can see the graining on the right front tire is, I mean, they're getting towards the end of the window for the mediums, aren't they? They'll go 12 to 15. I don't know, I still think being on the hards at the start was probably the better idea, but depending on how long they'd make them last. Remember, they can go 20 laps. Only 10 in so far, but you can see that now, as Helgelin getting around the Red Bull there, as I completely missed it because I'm a pillock, but as Adaltonian now heading into the pits, I think this might be actually a really early stop here for the Red Bull. This is either an unplanned stop, and he's got some sort of damage, or this is genuine, and he's perhaps making the transition to the hards. Well, he will be able to finish out the race. I'm just saying, this seems right early. I know he's attempting the undercut here. That seems like he's pulled the trigger way too early on that one. Callie Rob trying to hunt down the McLaren of PWR Grim Reaper here, 0.3 of a second away. Will he stay in the slipstream? He's got the Alpine of Scuba Steve behind him. Grim Reaper doesn't have DRS. Is he using his battery? No, not really. He's actually done a good job of breaking the toe there, and the Alfa Romeo's not had any pressure from him behind. Oh, Callie's gone wide through Luffield, it seems. Oh, and he's on the gas. Oh, and I tell you what, just a little too generous on the throttle results in another spin for Callie Rob, demoting him to 13th, and now about 4 seconds behind Josh Sr., who not long ago he was overtaking quite confidently. Andy at this moment in time, 0.4 of a second from Say, although it seems as if he's just not got anything for the Ferrari. It looks as if Andy right now probably has the Ferrari beat for pace in the 3rd sector. And that's about it. It seems like Say just has the advantage anywhere else he goes. It looks like Frontrunner has spun on the pit straight. Well, that was quite the that was quite the long slide out of club down the Lewis Hamilton straight, and that demotes him down to 10th. Not what he needed. Scuba Steve actually picks up 3 seconds. I'm not sure if that was going through Abby or that was perhaps making way for front runner who was spun on the pit straight. If that's the case, he could probably get a good word from the stewards and try to get that one taken off. It's very possible. If that was the case, we do see that sometimes. I've seen cars spin going through Cop, spin going through Vale, through Club even, and they end up picking up 10 seconds of time penalty just from spinning. Absolutely possible. Kittenpetter now within 4/10 on Helgelin, although I have to say, Kittenpetter very, very tentative to go through Cops at high speed. He's on the brake a lot more than I've seen other drivers, and he didn't really carry much speed, although now he might carry some. Gets a decent exit at Chapel. Down the hanger straight. Helgelin not using his battery in front. Kittenpetter's not going to have this one yet, although at the moment he's not looking that bad. Up 4 spots since the beginning. Andy sets the fastest lap. Worrying sign for the Ferrari ahead if the driver behind has the fastest lap. Scuba Steve 5 seconds speeding into the pit lane. And now it looks like he and Josh Sr. in the Williams coming in. Nicky 64, 4/10 of a second from his teammate of Shelley. Does Shelley hold him up here? Nicky 64 on the mediums. I wouldn't say he's on faster tires anymore, and there you go. Big wiggle, albeit a good save from the Aston Martin driver, but for a period of time he would have had a vouch there to have his teammate let him through, but not anymore. Andy now 3/10 of a second away from the Ferrari of Say ahead as they head through Cops. Good speed held through the corner by both drivers. This is the best attempt so far that Andy has had to Say. Has Say gotten nervous, or has Andy gotten better? It could be a bit of both. Let's see who holds the better speed through Chapel, and I tell you what, Andy has not gotten a good exit of Chapel there. He is now on the back foot heading down the hanger straight. Unfortunately, it seems at the moment that any part of the track that Andy is faster than Say, there's not an overtaking zone to help him. Lock up into the corner for both drivers. Looks like Say gets a better getaway out of Vale. Down the pit straight they go, and once again the gap exceeding 5/10 of a second. Kittenpetter once again pressuring his teammate here, and all the while they're doing that, Shelley the Turtle has lost, I believe, another second back to Andy. Shelley the Turtle, it has to be said, is doing well to hold on to the position. However, he's not gaining any time. 4/10 of a second. The Mercedes of Andy, can he do anything to find it past Say? As we see it, a couple drivers have chosen to come in. This is about where the pit window would start for the mediums. Let's see what we've got. Tire, yep, only a couple drivers left on the mediums. Everybody else has gone for the hards. Nicky 64, Hightower, and Gunner, the only 3 remaining on the medium compound. Quick look at the penalties here. It looks like Adeltonian getting around Frenchie. That being through Farm Curve. Andy, mind you, has 3 seconds of penalty, although look behind, he's got 7 seconds back to Shelley. Nicky 64. I mean, what do you expect the pit window to be here? That's the question. Helgelin getting around Kittenpetter, round the outside, side by side. Kittenpetter's gotten really loose there. Catches up a lot of oversteer on the outside, and then does a great job to save the car and hold on. It looks like Nicky 64 in the pits now. Oh, I should have had my phone out to time this, but you know, it is what it is. I'll do that for the next person. Whenever the next person comes back in, we'll figure that out. Nicky 64 into the pits. It's going to be the hard tires, naturally. I will say, should he stay on the hard tires, he will have the tire advantage come the end of the Grand Prix. Because it's only another 12, 13 laps to go. So yeah, I mean, not bad at all. We do have now Gunner on his way in. Give or take the time it's going to take now by a couple of seconds. I may have started the timer just a smidge late. I apologize for that. Into the pits goes Gunner. Hard tires coming on. Looks like yellow flag there for some reason. Has Sweep perhaps lost it on exit? It's a possibility. Down the pit lane on exit. Let's see when he rejoins the track. So give or take a 35-second stop totally. Kittenpetter now. DRS on the Haas of Helgelin ahead. He has that inside line. Is he going to have it by the time they get on the brakes? The answer is no. Had a very good look to the inside of the Haas, but wasn't able to make it happen. And now, Kittenpetter coming in. Remember, about 35 seconds it'll take. We do have, that's Andy in the pits, but more importantly, we've got Scuba Steve, who I believe is taking a spin going out of Cops. It looks like he's gotten it back together, but Andy has come in. So the undercut now coming into play. I'm assuming he's put on the mediums. The Haas of Hightower in, he fits the hards. Andy coming out, it looks like, yeah, he's on the mediums, so he'll definitely be able to make the end of the Grand Prix from here. But has Say got enough time? Let's see. Back to Andy. It's a 30-second gap. The Kittenpetter behind him, it's about 39. It looks like Nicky64 just overtook Kittenpetter there. Yeah, so it's about 30 seconds back to Andy. This isn't looking too good for Say. If he can, he's not going to be able to pull out another, he's not going to be able to pull out a gap here. I mean, Say's going to have to box this lap. That's the only way to say it. He's not going to be successful on the overcut here, and he does come in now. Let's see what he's got on the time. Remember, he was about 30 seconds to the Mercedes that he was battling with. Say into the pits. It looks as if behind him, Shelly the Turtle comes in, Helgelin behind him, VTech behind him, Cali Rob behind him. Cali Rob, 5-second penalty, speeding into the pit lane. You could see that happening there. You could see him sliding on the brakes. He wanted to back it down and not pick up the penalty, but unfortunately, the cookie did not crumble in his favor. Now Say has the lead for now. Exiting the pits, it looks like Andy will be taking the lead of the Grand Prix unless they're going to come out side by side here, and Andy does take the lead of the Grand Prix. And just like that, this race has changed. Andy does still have 3 seconds of time penalty, but his tires will be up to temperature faster than the Ferrari. Already a second past the Ferrari of Say. Shelly the Turtle behind. He's actually come out in a good spot. He comes out third. Not bad at all. Fresh medium tires for the AlphaTauri. I believe that one's going to... It might just be too easy. Bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there. Nicky64 slides out of the way after said contact. Drops down to 5th. Unfortunately, that's not what he needed. Can we look at the positions gained and lost? Ooh, look at this. Helgelin's come out on the softs. This is what I was thinking here. Could you stretch the softs to the end of the Grand Prix from starting on the hards? That would have been my bet. VTech up 10, 8 Altonian up 4, Andy up 3 for now. Shelly up 2, Kittenpetter up 6. Biggest loser has to be Scuba Steve down 10. Unfortunate for him. So Andy, 3 seconds of penalty. Out by about 1.2 seconds over Say. Picks up fastest lap. Hightower goes around 8 Altonian there. 8 Altonian's going to try to strike back down to the inside of Vale. Let's see, and no, he backs out of the position. Almost actually having his teammate of VTech careen into the back of him. However, 8 Altonian here, can he find the outside of Club? Switching back down to the inside now. Great battle this is. Frenchie picks up 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. 8 Altonian now does get a much better getaway. It has to be said, I think 8 Altonian might have them when they get back to DRS. It certainly looks as if that's going to be the case. Cali Rob getting around the outside of VTech here, albeit temporarily. Will he be able to force out of the way? 8 Altonian gets really heavy on the throttle. A big oversteer for him, and really spins his way out of the top 10. And now Cali Rob I think, getting around VTech here side by side as they head through Brooklands? Yes, he does. Callie Robb, nicely done there. Helgelin and Nikki64 traded spots there for a minute. Say has closed the gap to Andy Wu by just a couple of tenths now. It was within a second not too long ago. Nikki64 looking forward on Helgelin. Callie Robb, albeit, is having a good try rebounding here after his spin from third place. Currently 8th. He's got the 3-second time penalty. Hightower did not get a good exit at Chapel. Callie Robb's going to have this position, I'd say rather easily as well. Say has the fastest lap. VTech wants it on the outside of the Haas. He's going to try switching back down to the inside. The Haas covers the line. Good defending there from Hightower. It looks like Grim Reaper now. He wants in this battle as well. He's down to the inside of the Red Bull, and he moves himself up into 9th. Beautiful racing this is here from the Division 2 grid. I think he can. He's now got Hightower in his sights. Hightower has actually fallen off of Callie Robb by about a second now, and he's only just been overtaken not long ago. Closest battle on track, Grim Reaper on the Haas of Hightower. Let's see what he's got as they exit Aintree corner now. DRS and battery being used on the McLaren. Is he going to look for the inside? Into Brooklands. Yes, he will. Big contact there. The Haas goes wide. He still has the bottom. The Red Bull of VTech is in this now. He sees the 2 cars ahead. He's going to try it down the inside of Hightower. I think he's going to have this one as well. Yes, he will. VTech getting the move on Hightower, albeit the contact was made there with the McLaren. But VTech has battled his way back up to 9th and now has Grim Reaper in his sights. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead now within 0.6 of a second. We'll get to that in a moment. It's 0.2 of a second here. VTech, how does he handle the exit of Chapel? I think he's done quite well. He's got a lot of speed now. Really even Stevens on pace, maybe about 15 kilometers an hour faster than Grim Reaper. He's going to look up the inside, into Stowe. Contact made. Multiple drivers around. Hightower will sneak his way through. Oh, and that's not what you like to see at all. VTech and Grim Reaper did everything they could. They went side by side. And unfortunately for the two who were putting on some brilliant racing, it's all come crashing down. Was anybody at fault there? I mean, VTech, it looked... VTech had the right to the corner on the inside, but then he slid up the track, whether it was due to oversteer or perhaps was it a lockup? It was hard to tell. But either way, a great race for the both of them has now careened into outside the top 10. Meanwhile, Say within 0.3 of a second on Andy as they head through Maggots and Beckett's. Let's see if perhaps the Ferrari is able to strike back here. Who has the better exit at Chapel? Looks like it's going to go the way of the Ferrari. In the slipstream. Does he have anything going into Stowe? It looks like he will. Holds the bottom line. Andy does a good job to defend. Say's going to switch back down to the inside for Vale, and Andy holds him off for another lap. Adaltonian 3 seconds for multiple warnings. Unfortunate for him. He won't be losing the position to Scuba, but he might lose it to Grim Reaper. It'll be hard to tell which way that one swings. Adaltonian, mind you, within a couple of tenths of Hightower here. As they head into Stowe, doesn't look like that one's going to be made for now. Front runner getting around Josh Sr. there. Looks as if Andy's gotten a much better exit of Aintree. We have a yellow flag towards the back. It's Hightower on the pit straight. Oh, and I tell you what, nearly got the McLaren involved there. Absolute paper-thin margins between getting away safely and absolute carnage. And thankfully, getting away safely was the factor that won on that one. Not got a lot of time left now. Say within a couple of tenths of Andy. Andy will at the very most be losing just the one position, unless perhaps Say makes a mistake that puts him outside of 3 seconds. It's certainly possible. We've seen 2 different drivers spin out of the podium 3 today. That looks like an incident towards the back. It's Josh Sr. and it's Hightower going through Brooklands. Not a lot of time left in the race. It looks as if everybody's gotten away okay. Thankfully, as it looks like the two battling for the lead switched positions for just a minute. Say will now switch back down to the inside. 6 laps to go. Say within the slipstream, will he have enough to get to Andy? Scuba Steve looking for it on Adeltonian here. I believe he is going to get that position. Yes, he will, although his time penalty will probably erase his efforts there. Nicky64 looking for it on Helgelin, although it looks like half a second. That's definitely not close enough to make the maneuver. Not yet. Quite the shame with this year's F1 cars. The really does good at getting people close together, but you're not going to make the overtakes until you're within a couple of tenths. And with the old generation, you could be outside of 5/10 of a second, maybe 6 or 7, and then still somehow manage to crack your way into the overtake, at least in position for one. Not the case. You really have to be right behind the driver in order to poke your head out of the slipstream and be able to get the position. We've seen that a couple times now. I guess maybe it's helping drivers wait until the absolute last minute to try to find the spot. I'm not sure. Say looking down to the inside. No, he's actually going to try it around the outside. Does he switch back to the inside? Does he have the inside line for Vale? Let's find out. Andy's gotten a much better exit of Stowe there, and Andy's going to hold this one for another lap. 5 laps to go next time around. Say, I don't think has actually had a good go there through Vale, exiting it. Lost maybe a 10th. On with Nicky64 now, battling Helgelin. Will he have anything heading into Vale? Not this time he will. Not. No, he won't. Say now within a couple of tenths on Andy still. Battle for the lead, although, mind you, Andy, I mean, he's going to lose the spot with the penalty. That part's for sure. Unless, well, no, he won't, because we saw him get the penalty. There's no way he could go to the stewards and petition to get it removed. There's just no way. It was a clean-cut time penalty. Nicky64. And Helgelin here. Who gets the better exit of entry? It looks like it's going to be Helgelin. He's on the fresh socks. And I'm afraid they've not really dropped off yet. Nicky64 will have to wait to make that move to get into the top 5. Once again, Nicky64, I believe, coming in today 3rd in the Drivers' Championship. That part is true. Kelly the Turtle actually here in Division 2. Now, I believe he got bumped up to Division 1 full-time, but now he's here, so I'm not really sure what's happened. Although, going through Stowe now, oh, that's almost contact there between the two. Say gonna look for it down the inside. Will he be able to have it? No, he doesn't. That got really close there in my endless ramblings trying to catch up on all the driver moves. There's been a lot of them recently, that part's for sure. And speaking of moves, Nicky64 performs one around the outside of the Haas of Helgelin. That move had been in the making for some time, and finally, it gets performed. Nicely done from the Aston Martin. It still looks like Say doesn't really, and see, this is what we saw before with these two. They were really matched on pace, and nobody was able to get a clear-cut advantage. The only thing that's keeping, I mean, Say doesn't need to be trying as hard as it is. I know that it's much better to cross a line first and actually win the race rather than have it be on penalties. Say gonna look down to the inside. Nothing there for now. Within the slipstream of the Mercedes ahead. Heading down towards Copse now. Had a peek down to the inside. Chose not to make that move happen. Now within a 10th, heading into Maggots and Beckett's. Well, I tell you what, this is right close battling here. You can see Andy saving up his battery while he can. He's down to his last. Deploying here is the Ferrari. Will he have the move into Stowe? He's going to look for it down the inside. Will he have it? Will he have it comfortably? No, Andy's going to swap back down to the inside, and Andy's going to have a move. Say outbraked himself, I'm afraid. And Andy strikes back and takes the position. God, if Andy didn't have a penalty, this would be absolutely astounding. It's still really good either way. I'm not going to complain. Brilliant. 0.2 of a second for the lead. Say, really? I mean, really. He's got to be getting frustrated now. He's got 3 laps to go. We got a yellow flag ahead. That is the McLaren. Has he done that in the middle of the track? Oh, he almost has. Thankfully, he pulls himself off of the circuit. It was Sui. Man, that almost went very not good there. That part's for sure. Callie Robb's within 3/10 of Helgelin here. I'm afraid he'll be not really gaining any positions after his penalty comes into play. But hey, we're trying. Does Say have anything here? I gotta say, Andy's got him matched for pace for now. Let's go ahead and look at Callie Robb and see if he perhaps has anything happen on Helgelin. It looks like Sui picks up a time penalty, multiple warnings. Once again, battle for the lead within a couple of tenths here. Now, last time through, Say outbroke himself into Stowe. He has the inside. Will he have it this time? Andy still on the outside here, still side by side. Brilliant racing, these two, as they head into Vale. It's wheel to wheel. You couldn't fit a piece of paper between them. And Andy, somehow, yet again, is able to defend and keep the position. Within the slipstream once more. Does he try anything into Abby? The answer's going to be no for now, but I have to say, if Andy makes a mistake, he's going to collect Say, and Shelly the Turtle could walk away with a win. Down to the inside. Say wants it. Heading into Village Corner. Does he still have it? He's going to look down to the inside. Heading towards Aintree now. It's only 2/10 between these two. They've been in a league of their own all day. Say's going to try it down the inside, heading into Brooklands. And it looks like Andy tried to outbrake there. Has actually been detrimental. Say has the outside for now. Still side by side between these two. Does Say get the better getaway and get around Andy? He does. Almost. It's going to be side by side, going through cops. A Mercedes involved as brilliant wheel-to-wheel racing. Big contact there. That was definitely contact. And Andy tucks in behind the Ferrari of Say. Wow. I can't believe how brilliant this racing is. Kitten Petter. Now, this is a big one here. This will be for the 3rd spot, if to happen. Let's go along with these two. Kitten Petter within just over a half second behind Shelly the Turtle for what will be the podium position. It seems like Kitten Petter's tires definitely worse off here than the Aston Martin ahead. This will be the interesting battle here. This one for position for that final podium spot. The final lap of the Grand Prix starting now. Andy once again cut that corner. Oh, who's that to the inside? That's the McLaren of Sui, thankfully. Adeltonian, I believe, lost a spot there to his teammate of VTech. Not really good to be battling with your teammate on the last lap of the Grand Prix. That, I mean, I don't know. But getting better now. Does he have anything for Shelly the Turtle as they exit Aintree? DRS open for the AlphaTauri. He's got a lot more battery usage as well, although he's choosing not to use it. I have to say, this one isn't going to be the straight where you're going to make that move. It's going to be the hanger straight. It's going to have to be. As Kittenpetter, whether he wanted to or not, hadn't made the move. And now, and he's really slipped coming out of Woodcote there. And I'm afraid he's now outside of 7/10 of a second as the top two head through Maggots and Beckett's for the final time. Kittenpetter, does he have anything for Shelly the Turtle? He'll need a much better exit of Chapel. As the two leaders head down the hanger straights, heading into Stowe. It looks like we got a yellow flag behind it. Looks like Scuba Steve. Oh, but look at this. Kittenpetter down the outside. Shelly the Turtle had made a mistake, and Kittenpetter will take the final podium spot. Say, going through Vale now. Say overcame all the odds and will come home to win the British Grand Prix. Andy will finish second. Kittenpetter, if he can hold the spot, which it looks like he will come home to finish third. A last lap maneuver by Kittenpetter, whether it was a good maneuver or a mistake from Shelly the Turtle. Either which one are valid options to think there, but it's Kittenpetter rounding out the podium for AlphaTauri. The Aston Martins come home to finish 4th and 5th, a day they needed. A day that I'm sure they wanted to go a lot better, but that's a good points haul for them. Say and Andy, hats off to you guys. You put on an absolute clinic out there. And some beautiful racing as well. And very late there, Helgeland stealing the fastest lap. 1:29.642 in the Haas. Finishes 12th, his teammate behind in 13th. So after it's all said and done here in Silverstone, Say takes the win for Ferrari. Andy comes home in second. Kittenpetter makes the move on the final lap to claim third. Shelley the Turtle fourth. Nikki 64 fifth. Callie Robbins sixth. Seventh is Grim Reaper. Eighth VTech picking up driver of the day as well. Ninth Adeltonian. 10th Front Runner. 11th Scuba Steve. 12th is Helgeland. 13th Hightower. 14th Josh Senior. 15th Gunner. 16th Frenchie. 17th Capital 58. 18th Swee. And rounding out the field, P19. Unfortunate DNF is KB07. And if you thought that was fun, next week the grid takes on the Baku City Street Circuits in Azerbaijan for round 4 of the Midwest F1 season. Hotspot, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us this week. We'll see you next time.